Hello, I'm here to show you to use the builder grade general contractor or the builder grade GC plugin for Planswift. You can see that I have a set of plans here. I'm looking at them kind of zoomed in, looking at this small area here, and over here on the right is the plugin. You can see that we have the top levels that are all compressed upwards. If we open up a top level like concrete, it will open up and you can see the sub levels. And then underneath the sub-levels you can see the detailed assemblies that we have. You know they're detailed assemblies by the icons that show you how you are going to use the assemblies. Count mode here, area mode here, linear mode like this. Sometimes this icon right here can be used for linear also. So how you use a plugin is you have your plans, you have your plugin, and you find the area that the type of work that you would like to take off, and then you drill down until you find the plugin that you would like to have. Now I'm just going to do some quick examples here to show you how to answer the questions and use the plugin, and then how to review the plugins. I'm not going to be overly careful about making sure I'm right on the lines and all that when I'm doing the takeoff. So as I drill down in the concrete, I would like to take off some linear, actually first I'll take off some column footings. So I would say yes, we're going to take off some column footings. They're going to be formed, and when you find the assembly that you would like to take off, you look for this green button and you press it and click on it with your mouse. What happens is it brings up this dialog box, and you can see we have the title of the assembly up here, and you can modify this if you want. So I'm going to say this is column footings formed in build-in, so you can modify the title, and now you get to answer the questions. So here's a footing width, here's a footing length, and here's a footing depth. These are starting point values that are over inside of the database where it's stored, but you can change them on a job by job basis if you want to do so. Here's a concrete PSI. There's actually a list of different PSIs, so you click the list icon here and you can choose a different list, and you can modify the waste percent if you'd like. Down here is location, floor, zone. They're WBS codes. You can turn them on or off. If you do not want to see them, turn them off. If you would like to see them, turn on. You have location, floor, zone, WBS 1, 2, and 3. And then down below that, you have the shape of the, in this case, the count mode that we're going to have, which I'm going to say is square. We have the color, and you can pick different colors if you like. And then here is the fill type. That will be inside of the color. So when I'm all done setting this up, I click OK, and now I can click the places where I want to have the columns, and I'm just making up some values here. When you're done with your takeoff, you hit escape, and now you're on to the next takeoff that you would do, which in this case is going to be linear footings formed on both sides. So I find the assembly I would like to have, I click the green button, the dialog box comes up again. It's going to remember some values. I'm going to go back to 3 foot wide, 1 foot deep. Do I want a keyway? I can say 1 or 0, 1 for yes. What's my concrete waste? I can modify that if I like. And once again, here's my concrete PSI question and our WBS codes. And here's our color issue if we want to have that, and modify that again to what you want. When you're all done, you simply then outline the area as we have it, and as I said, I'm not going to be overly careful about this. There we go. When you're done, you click escape, and that is taken off. Now I would like to take off a slab on grade, and that will be to cover this area here. So I come down to slab on grade. There's a number of different choices that we can have. So I'm going to say that this is a slab on grade that is interior with no wedge forms. And I click the button again. It brings up the dialog box. In concrete, you know, it's very similar. You need thicknesses and length and widths and concrete waste percentages and such, and then what your PSI is going to be. I could click OK, and now I can come in and take off this slab on grade, and again, when you're done with this, you click escape. If you would like to change colors, you can just click this again, hit properties, come in and you can modify the color to what you would like it to be. There's more colors and you can make it however you would like to have so. All right, we're going to do one more and then go and look how we can modify these assemblies that we have taken off. I'm going to choose to do a little bit of drywall, so I would open up finishes. We're going to take off some plaster and gypsum, and then non-structural framing and gypsum wallboard. So I'm going to click this here, and we got our framing. So I'm drilling down to where I would like to be, and I'm going to say we need 3 5/8 studs, which is at the top because it's the most common use. I click my icon again, and it's going to bring up these values. Now I've chose this assembly because it's pretty much the most complex one in the entire plugin that we have. So you start out at top of the color. Here's the name, which I've shown you how you can change. Here's our stud height. I'm going to say this goes up to 9. Here's our framing labor, square foot per man hour. So here's where you get in your labor productivity, and you can change that up and down on a job by job basis as you want. Here's your stud gauge. There's a list for the stud gauges that you would like to have here. For the track gauge also, I've made it so you can keep them separate if you like. Here's your stud spacing on center in inches, and you've got your choices again for that. So I'm going to say this is 16 inches on center. And here's an important question: the number of gypsum wallboard layers. I have 4. You can see 4 lines down here. If I change this to 2, it will modify this to the 2 lines that you would like to have. So I'm going to say both layers are going to go up to 9 foot. I can pick the type of drywall that I would like to have. So in this case, they're both going to be type X, but you can change them if you'd like. Here is my productivity in square feet per man hour to set the drywall. And once again, you can raise or lower this as you see fit for your crews in the area you're working in, the way you would like to have it. Even though the studs in the drywall are going up 9 feet, I'm going to only tape it to 8 foot. And here is the tape-in levels that you want to have for both sides, because you're going to have one side and then the other side on an interior drywall. So I'm going to say that we are going to tape this for paint on both cases. When I'm done with this, I click OK, and now I can come in and indicate the drywall that we would like to have. And I'm just doing this to show you how to use the assemblies in the plugin. Now, when you're all done with your takeoff, you can move over to the estimating tab. And you can see here are the 4 assemblies that I have taken off. These are the takeoff values that you have. But notice that there's a plus sign to each one of these. So if I go to the first one for the column footings, where I changed the title, and I click the plus sign, here are all of the values that are being taken off. Here is the purchase of the concrete, and here's the cost of the concrete. Here is the footing forms. Now if I go into and look at the properties, here's the length and width that we have. Here is the quantity, how many square feet. Here's the cost each for the forms. Here is the concrete placement. So this is a labor activity, and you can see right here, here is the man hours for that activity. You can also look at this on the form level, where I can come in and say I would like to change this to 3, and notice that it is going to change the number of man hours. So we got 0.54 right now. I change that to 3. It's redoing the calculation. It's giving me 0.45 man hours. So you can look at and review each and every one of the line items that you have for your takeoff. This was the column footings. Here is the continuous footings with all the line items, and you can see the man hour calculations. Every one of these, you can come into the properties. Personally, I like to form. And you can come into the form and you can modify this as you see fit for your crews, your people, and the work rates that happen in your areas. So this is the way that you do the takeoff, and you come in and make the modifications for the GC plugin. I've taken about 10 minutes of your time, and I appreciate your time very much. I hope this was beneficial to you. Thank you.